Well, dag nabbit, I bought this compressor at an auction this past weekend and, well, she's not working. They did say at the auction that they plugged it in and it just hummed. So I went ahead and bought it. And when I got home, I plugged it in and it actually ran. Today I went to use it and it decided it doesn't want to work. Just sits there and hums. A lot of times that's an indication of a bad capacitor. So I went and bought one. Plugged her in and she still just hums. So we need to take her apart. See if we can see what's wrong. I see we've got some mud daubers inside there. This compressor came from an estate where I think the person's been dead for quite a while. I also bought an old car that's been sitting for decades, and I just bought it for the engine. It was cheap enough. And I bought an old travel trailer from the 1950s, and it's probably been sitting since the 1950s, but I was hoping I could get it back here and at some time use it as a restoration project and make it and rent it out here on the property. Gotta get my compressor running first so I can air up some tires when I go back to pick the car and the trailer up. First thing I do when I take a motor apart is I scribe. Get some scribe marks going on there. So when I go back together, I put it back together right. I need to remove these 4 bolts. They go all the way through the motor and they have a nut on the other end. Okay, I pulled the wires coming from the pressure switch off of the back of the motor. There's a diagram on the motor saying what wires go in what spot, so I'm not worried about that. Give it a few love taps with the back of a screwdriver. Good thing. She wants to come apart. I don't know what kind of mess I'm going to have once I get her opened up. Guess we're about to find out. Okay, let's look inside here. Got a little plastic plate, whatever, baked light. It spins with the armature. And what it does, with the motor stopped, it pushes on these 2 insulators. And on this side, it closes the contacts with it turned off. Them contacts are closed. And when the motor starts spinning, these flyweights centrifugal force pulls them out, and it pulls this insulated plate back, allowing the contacts to open. What this does, you'll see this wire here, it goes up to the capacitor. So the capacitor dumps its charge through here into the windings. And a capacitor, what it does, it gives it a punch. It stores electricity, it gives it a punch to cause the armature to start spinning. If not, it'll sit there and hum, and that's why I thought that's what the problem was here. So I'm going to assume that maybe my contacts are a little bit burnt, or maybe mud dauber nest got in the way or something. So I'm going to clean that contact, put everything back together, and try it again. I'll try to remember to take a picture of the bearing. Usually I write the part numbers down to like bearings and stuff when I take things apart. It's got a little rumble to it. It really should be replaced sooner than later. So let's put it back together. I'm not going to film that part. It just reverse what I just did, and then we'll test her out. Cross our fingers that we got a working motor. When you go back together something like this, you want to cross torque it. You want to snug one down, snug the other one down, then go through the other two until you eventually got them all tight. That way you don't load everything and pull one side tight. Then sometimes you can tighten up the other side. If you get one side completely tight before you touch the other side, it may draw down tight. You may think things look good, but in fact there could be a gap. I just got 2 bolts in it. I got my wiring hooked up. I'm going to plug it in and see what happens. And just one other note, 2 other notes. Capacitor gives the armature a punch to get it spinning. The capacitor holds a charge. If you used to touch these connectors when it's got a charge, it will knock the crap out of you. So don't. Take a screwdriver and cross it. And if there's charge in there, you'll go kapow. Another thing, if you're messing around with electric motors and anything else that's got electric to it, don't grab it like this. If you got to touch it with the back of your hand first. That way, if it's the body of the motor's got a charge on it because it's shorted to the body, if you touch it like this, your hand will naturally want to squeeze tight. And that's where people really can get messed up, because they'll actually grab a hold of it and they can't get loose. So you touch it like this. It'll knock the crap out of you, but hopefully it won't kill you. It's a safer way to touch it. Let me plug my nasty little plug in. There you have it. It runs. Could be the mud dauber's nest forcing that little switch in the open position. It could be the contacts having arced so many times they had a little carbon built up on them. But it works. I'm going to go ahead and replace the capacitor with the original one so I can put its cover back on. Well, there you have it. My little compressor works real good. I took it out and I got that junky old car and that junky old travel trailer, and I loaded them up and drug them over here. I'd like to thank you for watching my video. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and all that great stuff. And remember, if you love life and learning new things, go aimless.com.